Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Mardek, and we are going to explore XANTUSIA a little bit further. Based on what you guys were saying, it sounds like that is at least an acceptable way of pronouncing this town, but maybe we can just refer to it as the Reptoid Village. Speaking of which, we have some more Reptoid commoners to speak to. I bet you think that you are the only humans in this village. You are wrong. Some other humans have been living here for a long time. They're weird, but so are all humans. You don't even have tails. That's disgusting. I guess so. You know, it is certainly different from your physiology, but okay. We have another Reptoid shopkeeper. This one actually has something to say to us this time. Welcome, sir. Welcome. You are not from around here, but this does not bother me. I have a request, actually. Or I can just sell you items if that's the only reason you're here. Oh? I'm here to buy items and only to buy items. No, what's up? You see, I specialize in making a particular kind of ointment from the sand fruit in the Sandflow Caves, but I have run out of sand fruit with which to make it. The one who usually acquires it for me is caught up in this palaver with the intruder at the moment. You see, sir. If you could find and bring me a lovely, juicy sand fruit, I will give you some of the ointment free of charge. Oh? Okay. Now, are you interested in my wares? I mean, that was the primary reason why we went over here to begin with. And it is, for the most part, your typical potion shop. Nothing out of the ordinary. So we could theoretically stock up on some Phoenix Downs or other status-removing items if we felt like that was something useful. At this point in time, I think we're okay. And this is another human over here. What's the deal? It's Gope! Now, if you remember, Gope was the person who we rescued at the beginning of Chapter 2, the bandit who was reconsidering his life of crime, and, well, we'd opted to save him, and all the more reason for us to have done so. He is here, and we are happy to see him. Hey, I know you! Even the armor. I recognize you somehow. You're the one who spared me life. And look, we are indeed meeting again. You might not recognize me. What without me bandit coil and all? I'm not sure. Does Gope have a... I feel like he kind of has an Australian accent, at least what with the way that his lines are written, but I don't know. But it's me, Gope. The one from the gem mines. But you didn't kill. Mr. Knight. However, whenever I do an Australian accent, it inevitably turns British. So if I attempt to do Australian, then it'll last for all of a couple of words, and that's about it. And look, I've given up me life of being a bloody bandit, just as like I said. Now I'm making an honest, fair living as a trader, a merchant, a traveling merchant. I never saw so much of the world other than murky caves when I were a bandit, so now I'm trying to get to as many obscure places as I can. Maybe we'll see each other around in strange places, eh? I can be useful if there ain't no other shops around. And I'll hold on to any items he sells to me too, carrying them around wherever I go. Want to see me wares, friend? Ooh, okay. So he does have some potions as well. However, some new ones that we either have not yet seen or have not seen many of, including fig juice, a thick, gloopy purple concoction made of figs. No, not those kinds of figs. You and your dirty mind. Behave! It restores 2,000 HP and creates acute feelings of distance towards women. Yes, even for women. The self-loathing makes it worse for them. Uh-oh. But yeah, I mean, we have, what, 700 HP on our highest HP character, so at the moment, it's kind of overkill, but you can see how in the future that might become very useful. Then Ether, we've seen plenty of that. That is an MP restoring item. Remedies, removing all status effects. Phoenix Downs, plenty of those. More of the throwable potions. And elixirs, those have been pretty rare as well. It restores all HP and MP. I think we've gotten one or two thus far. You can see one in our inventory here. And then a couple of items that we can't even afford at the moment. 25,000 generic gold coins for each of these, the Emerald Bangle and the Sapphire Bangle. Emerald is a finely crafted bangle set with a valuable, magically enchanted emerald. Boosts vitality, 3 defense, 3 magic defense. Collectively, that's pretty powerful. Gives bark skin, which again has that little tree indicator next to it, which suggests that someone else can learn it, but not anyone that we have here. Plus 20% HP as well. That is a pretty significant amount. I believe we have a plus 10% HP passive at the moment, but that's obviously twice as good, the one that we see here. And then in addition to that, 50% resistance to earth, plus 3 vitality, plus 30 HP. All in all, very strong item. So if we look at the Sapphire Bangle, I'd assume it's probably maybe a little bit more of a spellcaster version of the same type of item. It's a finely crafted bangle set with a valuable, magically enchanted sapphire. Boost spirit. So here we have Null Water once. Again, it has that tree icon there. So that would suggest, again, that it is a skill that would one day belong to someone other than someone that we have here currently. And plus 20% MP as opposed to HP. Resistance to water rather than earth. And spirit and MP rather than vitality and HP. So, like we suspected, basically a spellcaster's version of the same type of item. Both of them look great, however, we are not exactly close to being able to afford either of them. We could potentially sell some of the things that we've been starting to accumulate. I'm wondering if, say, some of our duplicates, like we have a couple of sun axes, at least a couple, actually we have 3, they are worth 2,500 apiece. If you're willing to take those, that would be pretty great, I think. So let's do that. And then do we have any other major items that we have more than one of that we wouldn't really have any reason to stockpile more than one? Like, for example, the chest plates, maybe that makes sense to have a couple versions of those in case we want to have more than one person using them simultaneously. However, oh, and likewise, the scimitars, I mean, they are a sword, and it does seem as though, obviously, Mardek uses swords, and if we can get Vern back, don't know if we'll see him in Chapter 3 or not, but obviously he was using swords previously in Chapter 2 as well, so that might be a reason to hold on to additional scimitars too. Because there you see we have our second one as well. So I think that's probably all we want to sell for the time being. Maybe some of our duplicate gems here, like additional topazes. Not nearly as valuable, but 400 is still not bad. I don't remember exactly how many we have right now, though, so let's just, like, go one at a time here. Obviously, Charlotte currently has one equipped. But I think those are common enough. Yeah, we have 2 here and 1 here. Those are common enough. I think that if we were absolutely desperate for picking up more of them, then we could go back into the Sun Temple and farm up a few. And similarly, we have Donovan currently equipping a Fire Opal, and I'm not seeing as many of those in our inventory right now, so we might not have quite as many, and therefore might not want to sell them. So I think we'll stick with that then, and it's a way to get us a little bit more coins, and now we're getting somewhat close to being able to afford one of these. So it's getting tempting, and we could theoretically go a little bit more crazy and sell a bunch more stuff, but I think we want to stay a little bit composed here. Don't get carried away. We'll have plenty of time to come back here, speak to Cope again, and hopefully, when we do, have the chance to purchase one of these. What a pleasure to see you again, Cope. And here's another bookshelf. There are books about items. Yes. Not very interesting, really. Okay, I suppose. This bookshelf, however, there's a book here mentioning how shamans are usually rather proficient when it comes to making special, unique potions. But that seems like a rather sweeping generalization to you, so you have doubts as to its veracity. Okay. Random comments about shamans being able to make quality potions. Something tells me that might be relevant soon. More bookshelves, however. Important. Gotta read further. There's a book here called Blacksmithery for Stupefyingly Dense Dolts and Intellectually Deficient Ignorami. We'll be reading up on that next few days. Pop quiz coming up. Reptoid Blacksmith. I'm a blacksmith. I can forge equipment for you if you bring me the right components. Okay. And here you see his wares unlike with any other shopkeeper that we've seen thus far, what we have here with the blacksmith is that you can have any of these items here that you might potentially be able to have him craft for you. However, it requires that you put in these items here. So remember, back in Chapter 2, we were talking a lot about how several enemies were dropping quote-unquote crafting items. And so you might see some familiar names here, things like the Poison Stinger, Goblin Earwax, Iron Spears were some of the things that we were just picking up recently. Put one on Donovan, and I believe also just purchased one for Charla as well. And that could allow us to create a Sting Stick, which I believe has higher damage and potentially some new reactions as well. So lots of options here. I do think we technically have the ingredients to make this happen. And you want to be a little bit careful here, because some of these things, the Sting Stick for example, are not terribly difficult to create. The Poison Stingers are very common. Many bees will drop them throughout Chapter 2. And so we could theoretically go back to those places, or in all likelihood, you probably have a lot of them stockpiled up at this stage. Similar story with the Goblin Earwax. The Iron Spear, we did get one or two to drop while we were going through the Sun Temple there. I don't remember which enemy specifically drops them, but you can also purchase them in town. So all these things here are fairly easy to pick up, and the Iron Spear I don't think was terribly expensive either. So if you wanted to, you could just make tons and tons of Sting Sticks. However, this is sort of one end of the spectrum. On the other end of the spectrum, there are some items here that you can craft with the blacksmith that are very different, that use very limited resources, ones that are actually finite in nature. And in that case, you want to be very careful as to which ones you opt to choose to craft, because as it turns out, you actually are not able to craft all these things here. So for example, if we take, I believe, the Golden M Helm is one such example, where we see some things that we've not yet seen any of at this stage. Things like Gold Ore, I don't believe we have any of that. Candria Thope, might not have any Light Essence, or maybe even a Golden Conch at this stage, so none of these things are currently available to us. So this might be a little while until we're able to have the blacksmith craft this for us. However, if we look at some of the other items here, we'll see... Try to get a good example. So, remember, Golden Ore, I believe, is probably the best case here. Yeah. So Golden Ore, you need it for both the Regal Crown and for Mardek's helmet. Gold Ore again for the Eagle Wings. So, there are several things that all require Gold Ore, and that is, I suppose, minor spoiler here, that is a limited resource. There's only a certain amount that you will ever get over the course of your entire playthrough, and it is not enough to craft every single item that you see here. So you want to be very careful as to which ones you opt to take, because choosing one means that you may not be able to take the other. So that's something for us to consider a long way down the road, but in case you guys are playing along with me, just wanted to mention that in case you feel like, well, I want to buy everything right now. So when it comes to which ones you have the thumbs up, go right ahead. I would say pay very close attention to which items you already have several of at this stage. That's probably a pretty good indicator that there are going to be things that you can pick more of up in the future. So, for example, like we were saying, the Sting Stick would be one such example. And for the most part, many of the things that we see here, many of the pieces of gear are going to be up near the top in terms of the best gear that we can pick up over the course of the entire Chapter 3. Some a little bit more so than others, but there's some things that you can kind of keep your eye out for, like 6 defense, 6 magic defense, resist ether? Similar to the Geo Jacket, except for ether? Okay. Spirits and additional resistance to ether? Intriguing. So, we have a lot of stuff to bear in mind there. For the most part, as I said, I think that's going to be stuff that is going to be more of a future concern. So we could potentially craft more of those spheres, like I was saying. That might be somewhat of interest here, but I want to make sure that we have the opportunity to master all the abilities on the normal spear first before we upgrade it, and then afterward, we'll look to upgrade. Like I said, theoretically, there's an infinite supply at the shop, but we won't concern ourselves too much with that at this stage. And what is the deal here? We find that this is actually one of those teleporters. This one here is apparently still shut down, but at least one is currently active. So if we talk to this guy, let's see if he has anything to say about that. The portal to the left reactivated itself, but the one to the right's still down. I can't even remember where it leads, either. Oh, the one on the left leads to some lizard village or something, though. It used to be used by the lizardmen for trading and talking with us priests, but we don't use it much anymore, since they hate people now, for some reason. Which I really can't blame them for. It's a two-way thing anyway, so if you have business in Lizardland, you can just pop there with the portal, then pop back using their portal when you're done, right? Sounds convenient. So that way, like we were saying earlier, if we want to go back into the Sun Temple, that is a pretty convenient way to make it happen. And did we speak to this Reptoid? I don't know if this is the only village of Reptoids in the world. It could be, or it could not be. I've never been far away. Alright, true. Actually, tell you what, I'm curious what our friends have to say about this place. Rohoff, maybe? And it has been a while since we've checked in with anyone, so we might find that people have more generic things to check in with us about, as is likely the case here, given how Rohoff is playing his own personal theme, rather than continuing to have this area's music playing in the background. Yes, Mardek? Do you want to hear more of my terrific backstory? Whoa there, Rohoff. Slow down. Nobody said your backstory was terrific, okay, man? Well, yes, please. What would you like to know? Well, tell me more about this Government of Mage's Eye that you were in. It sounds exciting, like some secret club. As you wish. If only to rid you of your wearisome ignorance on that matter. The Governance de Magi was not merely a secret club. We were the rulers of Anshar, and the most powerful beings on the planet, too, in terms of magical ability, as well as authority. Not to brag, of course. I mean, you were saying that your backstory was amazing earlier, so you're kind of bragging. You see, we Anukai are a very magical society. We focused on teaching and learning magic in very organized ways, rather than this irritating, let's see what I pick up over the years, approach to thaumaturgic accumulation that you people on this world seem to follow. We had several prestigious schools, each devoted to a separate element of magical study. I went to the Light One, for example, which taught me how to be a healer. The system is very hierarchical, based on intelligence and talent. The more skilled and experienced students teach the less skilled, and so on. There are many levels of skill in each school, which we each ascend if we are competent enough. Like the knights and guards and stuff in the Royal Guard? Yes, sort of, though none of us have actual labeled ranks. We are each individuals rather than mere members of a specific class. We are not teachers or students, but both, simultaneously. The wisest, most powerful member of each school is chosen to represent that element in the Governance de Magi. This gives us 7 intelligent, highly qualified members of all of the elements that Anukai can commonly be: fire, water, air, earth, light, dark, and ether. We feel it is best that each type of citizen gets a say in the way the world is run, so that there is no tyranny or prejudice toward any one group. Everyone has equal rights, and generally, we can all come to an agreement that is satisfactory for us all. Though, at times, not as adequate as some of us may prefer. The road to hell is paved with compromises. What? Never mind. As I was saying, this used to be the case, and it was wonderful. Utopian, I think. Or as close to it as any race can reasonably approach, at least. Until that damned violet crystal ruined it all. Since then, the Dark Governor, Anu, has taken over as a master of the GDM, as he best represents the changing minds of the others, and it pains me to think of all this. And on that note, yet again, I am tired of talking of this right now. It brings back unpleasant memories. So, if it's all the same to you, can we get a move on now? I suppose, however, let's see if we can also talk to Rohoff more specifically about this location. Your world seems to have its fair share of these villages of odd sentience. hidden deep in caves. It's most peculiar. I wonder what else you're referring to. I suppose general wildlife. As for Donovan and Charla, might see the same thing where we've not really spoken to them much, so they might have a general update as well. I've been aware of reptoids from an early age, but I've never actually seen one. They're a lot taller than I envisioned. Hard to tell in this instance, but I think if we try to remember back to when we were fighting them in that previous battle, that seems like that could have very well been the case. As for Charla, these reptoids seem really friendly. Oh, okay, great. And this reptoid, who appears to have armor? So, more humans? Why must you humans keep crawling down to our quiet little village? We never bother you, sirs, so we'd appreciate if you'd leave us alone, too. Okay, sorry. My bad. More reptoids? I'm naked! Wah! Put on some clothes, man. And as for this spot? Huh? Hold on, bookshelves first. Priorities, right? There seem to be records stored here about the village and about its inhabitants. It seems that each reptoid has their own personal family file, containing the exploits and statistics of various warriors, young and old. There seems to be centuries of history here. Cool. As for this one, this bookshelf contains the personal journals of many chieftains, including Slinnik. It'd be an invasion of privacy to even read a word of them. Oh, I suppose personal journals make sense. And as for you two over here, this looks like Slinnik. That it is. You came, human warriors. I've been considering your proposition. It is dishonorable for our tribe to ally directly with humans due to conflicts in the past. And I, as chieftain of this village, am supposed to strictly uphold these ancient laws. However, there are times that call for rules to be broken for the good of all. If I stubbornly insisted that we could handle this ourselves, then many of my kin could lose their lives. If I request that you eliminate this scourge yourselves, sirs, then that would be dishonorable for us. So, I've decided that the best means of action is for me personally to join forces with you, warriors. I will recall my own warriors from the depths of the caves. Our party will handle this alone. Oh, you want to join us after all? I mean, we offered. But okay. You seem like adventurers, after all. You are more powerful and effective than all of my warriors put together. Oh, please. You guys hit pretty hard, those reptoids we fought previously. They had some pretty strong physical attacks. Not to mention, at least you yourself, Slinnik, capable of breathing fire? Not too bad. Well, great! We're friends now! Hurrah! We appreciate your cooperation, Chieftain... what shall we refer to you as? My name is Slinnik Ia Slena, 26th Chieftain of XANTUSIA. Right, okay. It's an honor to have you working with us, Slinnik. Well, it is for all of us, an honor for you to be working with us. So let's go! Yes, my warriors report that the disruptive intruder headed deep into the sand flow caves. We must travel there. The caves are north of this village. While I am gone, the village will still need to be watched over. As my most trusted advisor, blatantly evil chancellor, I leave the care of our village in your capable hands. The power that is mine, I grant to you. I will be sure to do a fine job of ruling this place while you are away, sir. Oh, yes. I'm glad to hear that. I will rest easy, knowing that my village will be safe, in the care of one as capable, trustworthy, and benevolent as yourself. Yes, before you go, sir, would you like a nice sparkling glass of this nice bubbling green wine? I promise you that it is not poison. No, thank you, blatantly evil Chancellor, for I have already imbibed my fill for the moment. But I thank you nonetheless for your generosity and for caring so strongly about my well-being. Drat it all to hell! That is, I mean to say, it is my pleasure to be an aid, sir. Now, good luck on your travels. I will be praying for your good health. It is now time for us to depart then, to the Sandflow Caves. Alright, great, and with that, it sounds like this is probably a good place for us to leave off, because we're, of course, now headed into the Sandflow Caves, and I'm sure we'll leave things in the more than capable hands of the blatantly evil Chancellor.